almost time. Hey, dogs, go away. No. Mookie. No, I know you're good boy. You're good boy. I know you're good boy. You got a dirty nose. You've been digging. You've been digging outside. Hey, Lukey, go away. No. All right, here we are, everybody. How are you doing? The Mr. Archer here. 1 second, I need to mute myself. Okay, there we go. Anyways, hope everyone is doing well. Been a rough week for Everton Football Club. Yeah, I was going to do a match reaction after the West Ham game, but I did one actually for Toffee TV, but I guess I sent it to the wrong email address, so they never got it. And then by the time Monday hit, I just thought everyone knows what the problem was at Brighton. I mean, we couldn't hold on to a 2-1 lead. Some of the substitutions were absolutely, completely baffling to me, especially bringing Sigurdsson on for Bernard when he went off. That should have just been a straight, switch for, so many different things that you could have possibly done. Moving Alex Iwobi out to the left-hand side, just killed off the whole game. So that game was over at the 29-minute mark when Gylfi came on, obviously. So, and then the Dom comes on, which is fine. Dom coming on, scores a goal. That's brilliant. That's good work, Marco. But then you bring on Delph, and at some point during the game, you've got Sigurdsson, center midfielder. Delph, center midfielder. Tom Davis, central midfielder. Andre Gomez, central midfielder. And then the formation's all messed up. Everyone's confused. And, VAR F's us in the A. Oh, yeah, by the way, Movember is coming up. So nice little red mustache going on here in case you're wondering. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, so, we lost. And then, Bernard's out, which is terrible. Could be anywhere from 2 to 3 months. Some people are saying 4 to 6 weeks. So we don't know what's going to go on. Then we had Watford in the Cup. And by all accounts, I was working because Everton is so embarrassing right now. I'm not going to take a couple of hours off work, even though I could, and get paid for it. But, out of protest for the shitness of the team right now, didn't want to watch it. And I heard the first half is absolutely shocking. And second half, different team. Keane goes off. Kind of unfair on Keane. I mean, he might have been playing piss poor, but playing them out of position when we're not actually playing a real 4-3-3. We're playing like a 4-5-1. Doesn't get the best out of Moise Keane. Hey, Neil Jackson, what is going on, my friend? How are you today? Anyway, so yeah, and then we come out in the second half, and Theo comes on, and like I said, since the bang in the head, Theo has been on point. Still missing sitters, still not taking his opportunities most of the time, but it is what it is. So, hopefully he'll play again this weekend. And this weekend is Spurs at home. So Goodison, be there on a Sunday. The watch along will be here as usual. Watch along, the Mr. Archer. Come and hang out. Chat with your favorite friend. Come talk with Ant. Come talk with Mr. Neil Jackson. He might be here. Lots of other people like to come in, say what's up. We'll have some banter. We'll have some conversation. We'll vent and rage and disparage the team. Or we might clap and applaud and say how much of a genius Marco Silva is. You never know. But some things we need to know ahead of this game. Tottenham haven't won a game away from home since January. They've lost like 18 games in 2019. Lots of stuff, but that's just the Everton way. Here's a record. We'll just go ahead and break it. Somebody will break a record on us. It always happens. But if you've been watching, Spurs this season, if you've been seeing all the, sorry, cracked a tooth the other day and it fucking hurts. Spurs haven't been having the greatest time in the world. I mean, it went from Champions League finalists to, getting slapped around 3-0 at Brighton. And, they didn't put up a very good performance against Liverpool last week. Got a couple of draws. They're just not a very cohesive unit. And I think what's happened with Tottenham is because they don't spend money, because Daniel Levy is I'll be here the day after Burnley's glorious win over Sheffield. I hope so. But here's the thing. I mean, Sheffield United, they're not the greatest team, but they're not the worst team, obviously. They can seem to get draws out of nowhere. Or wins if they come to Goodison Park, obviously, and get a win. But no, they're a scrappy little team. They like to play their football, and Chris Wilder's got them playing decent football, got a great mentality about him, all that other stuff. So hope you guys do well. Burnley, decent team. We got screwed over a couple of weeks ago, obviously with the VAR and against Leicester. And what was I talking about? Tottenham, they just don't spend the money. Yes, Eddie T, lad, hello. Glad to see that, yeah, okay. Eddie T, what's going on, man? I was thinking about you the other day, actually, Eddie T, about our conversation we had with Bernard, and it was funny because I was like, we had the conversation about can Bernard play a number 10, yada, yada, yada. Now the son of a bitch is out injured, so I guess we'll never know for 6 to 8 weeks, but I hope you're doing well. Owen JH, how are you doing, my friend? Nice to see some people in here for the live stream. I know it's late if you are living in the UK. I know you've got an extra hour back for us right now, so I'm assuming it's like 11:45 over there. Our daylight savings goes back to 6 hours differential between UK and US on the 4th, I think. Anyways, so yeah, Tottenham don't spend money. And when they do, they bring in players like Ndombele and, this and that, and Lo Celso. So players that need to fit in, but, they've got the same players with the same team. They've got Alderweireld, they've got Vertonghen, they've got Danny Rose, they've got Eriksen, Dele Alli, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son. So on the day, only 10:45. Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, only 10:45. Well, thanks for staying up semi-late to watch this. And so they've got the same group of players that have played together all the time. You've got to keep freshening it up. And you can just see that, they're not where they're at. Harry Kane, can't be happy. Prolific center forward goal scorer. Real Madrid would take him. Barcelona would take him. Bayern Munich would take him. All the top clubs in England would take him, but he has to play for Tottenham. And so yeah, I don't think, by the way, that we're going to get absolutely smashed like we did last year. But, we're playing at home. Tottenham not great on the road. Players can play. And I guess as per usual, it will depend on the lineup. So who's ready to see the lineup I want to go with? There's nothing surprising, but bam! Here's what I want to do. Okay? I think Moise Kean was genuinely robbed against Watford because playing him out on the right as a right winger, right winger, like a conservative, or right winger like Republicans in the United States. But no, can't play him out there, especially in like a 4-5-1, because as most people said, you need to play a 4-3-3 correctly. You look at Man City, you look at the shite. You've got two center backs. A left defender and a right defender, and they push up. You look at Kyle Walker, and you look at Zinchenko, or you look at Benjamin Mendy, and you look at, I forget the other player, that Cancelo that they brought in for Manchester City. But then you look at the shite. They've got Alexander-Arnold. They've got the guy whose name I keep forgetting, the Scottish guy. But those push on, and that means that your Salahs and your Bernardo Silvas and your Sterlings can get closer. So you've got you start off as a 3, and then as the wing backs come up, they condense. You've got an actual 4-3-3, and then players drop in. So all that stuff. But you have to play Moise Kean up top if you're going to play him. And you have to play Alex Iwobi with Moise Kean because Sigurdsson is not going to be mobile enough. Is not going to move around a bunch. He's going to play in his little 10-yard radius and all that. So Moise Kean is the type of player you need to build a front line at least around. So Alex Iwobi has to be playing in the number 10 role. Walcott, because we don't have an option, has to go on to the right, but he's been playing well, obviously. And then Richarlison on the left is what I would go with for this. But if you're going to play Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I don't think this is the game for him. I think Vertonghen or Davison Sanchez, or there's a lot of players that could just give Dom an advantage, and we shouldn't be needing Dom in this type of game. They're going to come at us. They're going to play, hopefully, fast-paced, expansive football and leave themselves open at the back, and there's going to be lots of space all over the pitch, kind of like as it is against Manchester City when we played them. So that's what I'm going with. I don't want to see Delph back in the team. Gomez has obviously been hit or miss. He was horrendous against Brighton, decent against Watford, but this is what I would go with. But if you want to play Delph, I mean, I want to see Tom Davies. I want to see progressive football up the pitch. We can't have two defensive, sitting midfielders. We can't see that again for the entire season. I don't care if we're home, if we're away, whatever. We can't have two holding defensive midfielders. Also, this is contingent on Mina being fit. So, if he is fit, I'd go with Mina and Holgate. I think Holgate had an assist against Brighton, scored a goal against Watford. I think for right now, he's a better option than what Michael Keane is. Michael Keane has a huge mistake in him or just completely loses his head at some point. I'd like, and this might be controversial or it might not be, not against Tottenham, let's just say that. I think Jordan Pickford should play against Tottenham. But eventually, if he starts having some of his shocking performances, based on his decision-making and his mentality, I'd like to see Lerso get a game. Like when if we got home to Norwich or away to Norwich or, a certain games, I wouldn't mind Pickford being dropped for at least one game just to let him know, hey, we're going to give somebody else a chance. And if Lerso plays well and, he's commanding the defense and he's a leader and he's, making the saves that need to be saved and he can set his wall up correctly and he's doing everything right, there's no reason Lerso can't play. Premier League proven. Yes, he was at Huddersfield. I understand that. But he got a lot of practice stopping goals, just like Jordan did. When Jordan played for Sunderland, he was getting peppered every single game. And what you learn from getting peppered and conceding lots of goals every game when you play for a shite team that gets relegated, you're going to become a better keeper. That's what I think. So yeah, this is the team. See, this is the team like right here. If you played Keane out on the right and had like Dominic Calvert-Lewin up top, I wouldn't have a problem with that because Keane needs to be closer to the goal, needs to be closer to the centre forward, and the Sidibe needs to be going down the outside. Seamus Coleman does not offer the quick ball into the pitch and then bombing on forward. You see Sidibe game in, game out, the 2 games he's played. He likes to bomb on. He's got a cross on him. He's got some technique. He's got some skill. He can play a pass. He can, he's all the things that Seamus Coleman isn't anymore. So yeah, that's what I would go with. But like I said, if they want to play Delph, I guess you'd have to take out Tom Davies. But Gomez and Delph try and do the same thing. They try and be the metronome in the middle there. They try and control the play. Nobody really pushes on forward. Gomez should be pushing on forward because when he played at Valencia, that's what he did quite a lot of the time, right? Picked the ball up, carried it between the lines, strong, protected it, gave it off, received it back higher up the pitch, broke beyond the centre forwards, broke into the half space between, in the channels. But he just doesn't offer that very much anymore, or at least for us right now. So this is what I would go with. We don't need to play defensive against Tottenham. We don't need to, shut up shop. We don't need to park any buses. You're coming to Goodison Park, Tottenham. You're bringing your lackadaisical, shite, predictable lineup and all that to Goodison Park. We're going to have the flags, hopefully. We're going to have the sirens blaring. Everyone's going to be up for it. 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday. What else do you want? And the funny thing is, people, that if we actually beat Spurs, we can go above Spurs in the table. That's how completely fucked this Premier League season is. You look at the table and who's beat who and who's lost to who and who's drew who. And I mean, you've got 9-0s. You've got Leicester beating Southampton 9-0. And then you've got, Brighton beating Spurs 3-0. And then you've got us losing 2-0 at home to Sheffield United. And you've got other, Norwich beating Manchester City. And it's, woo! The only team that's not obviously getting any bad results and not getting screwed over by VAR and not having anything terrible happen to them are the Carpites, which is understandable. I know what's going on at the FA. You don't have to tell me what's going on at the FA. But, yeah, that's really about it. I mean, it should be an exciting game. It's another game that Marco always needs to pick the right team for. What's going on, Ant? My man in the house. So would anybody change anything about this lineup if you guys are still in the chat? Just let me know. Obviously, if Mina doesn't play, it would have to be Michael Keane. But other than that, I don't see anything else that could possibly be done. You know, you could probably put Richarlison up for. I mean, okay, here's what you could do. Okay, here's what you could do. What if? Let's just say what if, right? Okay, so let's play Richarlison. God damn it. Let's play Richarlison through the center. Let's play Walcott out on the left. And let's play Moise Keane out on the right. Right? Could possibly do that. Because if you play Keane out here and actually get somewhere central, because what you'd want is that, right? 4-4-2, I mean, that could be done a whole bunch of different ways, but the key about this is, if you have... If you have Richarlison, and you have Keane, and you have Walcott, let's just say it's something like that, because Walcott can cut in on his right foot and shoot, right? I think Holgate's a must, yeah. But the key is, if you play this, and you have Keane here, Sidibe has to be getting up the park and getting behind him. So obviously he gets up the park. Ken gets closer to the center forward. You know, Davis comes over to cover this area. And exactly the same thing on the left-hand side. You know, Dean has to be pushing up here. Gomez has to be covering back here. And, you know, Holgate has to be pushing up over here. If you want to play a real 4-3-3. In my opinion, in my humblest of opinions, I'm not really too concerned about Spurs because I think they're gonna allow us to play. Watford weren't gonna allow us to play. Watford basically came to fucking have a penalty shootout in Liverpool, right? That's basically what they wanted to do. They wanted to come, sit there, play some youngsters, give some people some minutes, get players fit, get them game time, and then take penalties, and then, you know, fuck off back home to London and, you know, continue to be bottom of the league. That's basically what they wanted to do, but, you know, you could play that formation, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's probably going to be this, isn't it? With Wally out here. And Ken up here. I mean, Moise Kean might even not get a start. You know, I would give him a start against Tottenham. I think, like I said, there's going to be space in behind. If you're going to play these players, play it. Because I don't really see what use... right now, and this is what I would like to see. What I put up there previously with Walcott on the left and Richarlison on the right and Ken up top. Or Ken on the right, Richarlison up top, Will on the left. Because I don't want to see Alex Iwobi outside of that number 10 position anymore. That is Alex Iwobi's spot in my Everton team. Game in, game out, week in, week out. Because there's the players that we have, and in order to get the best out of all of our players, and I hate to say this, because teams shouldn't be built around one player, or the whole offensive situation shouldn't be based around... Iwobi's had his off moments, obviously, but I think, you know, I think Alex Iwobi is not used to actually playing week in, week out, game in, game out, and having so much responsibility put up on him. Because he used to play on the left side of the midfield, left winger, if you like to say, for fucking Arsenal, and he wasn't a regular. So I think he's actually shocked by the amount of game time that he's getting and how much we depend on going through him. I mean, he puts a shift in. He chases all over. He always tries to break the lines. But I really think that the whole Everton FC right now, decent, it all revolves around Alex Iwobi. because he's got the pace to get up and down the park. He likes to push forward. Tom Davies likes to push forward. We've got players running in behind. When you push up, defenders are backing up. Theo can come in behind. Richarlison come in behind. So can Bernard. He can go out to the left if necessary. So Richarlison can come in the middle. Walcott can come in the middle. Iwobi loves running on beyond the center forward. Doesn't matter if it's Ken or if it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin or if it's Tosin. Like, our whole team makeup has to be based around Alex Iwobi and his energy in there. So, most of the team offensively only works if you have Alex Iwobi in there. If you want to put Gylfi Sigurdsson in there, you know what you're going to get. Basically nothing. Maybe a worldie goal at some point. Maybe a penalty kick scored or missed, depending on how Gylfi's feeling. But, overall, this is what I'd want to see. Because nailed on and has to play Digne, Holgate, Mina, Sidibe. Like I said, I'd kick Pickford out for a game if I could, but against Tottenham, no, not there. So the back five set. Gomez has to play. Iwobi has to play. For me, Davis has to play. Because who else you got? Schneiderlin. Morgan, I'm just as good as Sergio Busquets. Schneiderlin. Sigurdsson, Delph. Like, those aren't creative, box to box, put in 90 minutes, chase around, ambitious players at the end of the day. They're safe players. They do a job. But no, so this is basically what we have to do, in my opinion. Like I said, Marco may have a different idea about what to do, but, Iwobi has to be number 10. Everything has to revolve around number 10. So if I wake up and I watch the game, because I'll be waking up, so it's a 10:30 kickoff in the US, so I think there's a game before that, so I'll be watching. Anyways, when the Twitter gets refreshed and I see this, I'm going to look at the center of the pitch. Like, I don't care who else starts. I'm not going to look at anything. I'm going to look, is Alex Iwobi in the number 10 position? Because he's out on the left, and Sigurdsson is then in the number 10. I'm not having any of that. What are my score predictions for this one? Everton 2, Spurs 2. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. I think it'll be an exciting game. I think it'll be an open game. And this is barring VAR shenanigans, red card shenanigans, anything like that. But I'm going to go 2-2. Because I think Tottenham can be got at because they come out and play. They've got I think that they're overrated. Some of their players are overrated because, let me tell you something. Dele Alli, I know you enjoy playing your Fortnite in front of 12-year-old kids. I understand that. But as a professional footballer, as someone that's come up through the leagues and had to earn the right to make the big money that you make and get the endorsements that you can make and your clothing line and all that, that's great. I'm happy that you're a financial success and that you've got great marketing rights to your image rights and all that stuff. But as a footballer, mate, woo! You've absolutely fucking bottomed out. And then, Eriksen's not up for it most of the time. He wants to leave. He's not getting his contract renewed. Vertonghen's not getting his contract renewed. There's a bunch of players in there that are kind of just going through the motions. So I think they can be got at. Their central defenders are okay. Vertonghen, Sanchez, Alderweireld, no issues there. But Danny Rose, Serge Aurier, who they got on the other side? Well, Walker Peters is out injured. They got Ben Davis. No, not for me. And then they've got the main thing, right, is Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. Like that is enough to give most defenses nightmares. I really do think that Yerry Mina, if he plays, can lock down Harry Kane if that's a possibility. Heung-min Son, I'd take that player at Everton in a nanosecond, my friends. I would. Outstanding energy, outstanding skills, outstanding ability to read the game and know where to be. Everything you'd want in like a floating number 10 or a false 9. Yeah, Son is one hell of a player, so we got to be aware of him. Harry Kane as always. But, Harry Kane always scores like jammy goals against us, right? Remember that one, was it last season or the season before, where it's like a cross from the the right-hand side of the pitch and just goes over Pickford's head and in. I remember that. That was shockingly bad. But, yeah. So I'm saying 2-2. Do we want predictions on who's going to score? I got that all messed up last week. Well, no, I said Richarlison was going to score last week, but, he got it taken off him, so we got an assist. But who do I think could score against Tottenham? I'm going to go with Richarlison. Richarlison, always on in my book to score. So I'm going to say Richarlison. And I'm going to say Luca Dean. Luca Dean, direct free kick. Top bins. Gazaniga, pick that out, son. Oh, Moise Kean to score? That's asking a little much. I want to see him put in a good shift. Maybe get an assist to Richarlison. Maybe get an assist for the Luca Dean free kick that he scores. And then for Tottenham, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son. Those are the goals. That's 2-2. And I think we're going to come back. I'm going to go deep. I'm going to go deep into my predictions here. Here's what I'm going to say. Bam! Everton go 1-0 up through Richarlison. Harry Kane comes down the pitch 2 minutes later, scores a goal. And that's like in the first 20 minutes of the game. It's just back and forth and in and out and up and down and all around. And it's 1-1 after 15, 20 minutes, right? And then it's gonna settle down. We're gonna pass the ball around. They're gonna pass the ball around. Probably a couple of chances, but maybe not much. Go into halftime, 1-1. Come out right at the start of the second half. Heung-min Son's gonna do something absolutely outrageous. Put them 1-0 up. 2-1 up. And then we're just gonna come. Oh, it's just going to go. We're just going to be putting on the pressure, right? We're just going to be pounding at the door, but nothing's going to be happening. Iwobi's going to hit the bar. Walcott's going to miss a sitter. Gomez is going to hit the post. And we're just going to keep going on and on and on and on. And then finally, we're going to get 85th, 86th minute. Foul on the outside of the box. Luca Dean's going to step up and wham! It's 2-2. We get out of there with a point, and that's how it's going to go. 2-2. All of that. That's exactly what's going to... You shouldn't even watch the game. Show up. Come hang out with me for the watch-along, obviously. I'll be on about half an hour before kickoff, so stop in here with the Mr. Ross channel. Tell your friends. But yeah, just come watch the 2-2 game with me, and we'll have a great time. Oh, but I think that's about it. I don't think there's really anything else to talk about. I'm going to have to do the Everton versus Tottenham PES game at some point. Ooh. Well, I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to load up some PES, and then I'm going to play the Tottenham visiting Everton Football Club. Well, that's the second best option, though, right? You can't go to the Tottenham game, so you come hang out with me and watch the game and all that. But no, and anybody else watching, I'm actually going to stop the stream right now, and I'm going to load up PES, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll play the Tottenham versus Everton PES game and get that up and going. So hope to see you guys there. I'll be right back.